Let me just provide a bit of introduction, because the people who are viewing this will not necessarily know who you are, even though this is the second video that we've done for you, Claudia. I'm interviewing Claudia Medina, and Claudia is teaching at Louis Valdez Leadership Academy, which is a charter school serving largely Latino students. And she's very boldly teaching Romeo and Juliet for this unit, and that's actually what her PACT was focusing on. It was about the second or third week, as I remember, for teaching Romeo and Juliet. So I've asked Claudia if she can consider starting with forwarding some of the things that she felt went really well, that she'd like to continue doing, and then spend some time talking about things that didn't go so well that you might do differently the next time.
So I found when the students did the homework review and we discussed the questions in class, and I went around and stamped their study guide questions, I was really pleased that most of them, about 75%, did the reading and were engaged in the discussion. And when I asked them the probing questions, they were also able to answer. They seemed really engaged with the text, so that's one thing that I'm really, really happy about, especially with reading Shakespeare and Romeo and Juliet.
Right. There might have been a falling off, particularly from going from the Louis Valdez Zoot Suit. Did you use any audio recordings for the Shakespeare, or just the Leonardo DiCaprio video?
I tried the audiobook, but it went too fast for the kids.
Yeah,
and especially when they're reading the early modern English, they were like, it's going too fast, and they expressed that right away. So I was like, okay, we'll stop, and we'll try reading it out loud as a class. And I think reading it as a class, having them go back and reading the translated part at home, and then also watching the film is like really helping them comprehend what's going on.
Yeah. Did you show for the PACT? Did you show the entire series of accent scenes that you were focusing on for last week, or did they see some and not others? In other words, did they read some and see others, or did they see each of them? Or?
Yeah, they usually just watch what they read. So we're reading it in chunks. So we read and watch, and watch.
So they did end up seeing a film version of each of the scenes that they read, and the film came generally after the film, after the reading.
After the reading, for sure.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
It's a little bit of motivation. Like, we read and then you get to watch.
Right. Nice. Nice. Were they still as fond of Leonardo DiCaprio after the end of the week as they were when I saw them the week before last?
They are. Now they're more like, why are they doing this? They're kind of dumb.
Right. Yeah, asking. What about the? I was very impressed. Last time I was here, you were showing the Baz Luhrmann film of the ball scene, the Capulet ball scene, right in that first act, and it was outrageous.
Right, it is.
Mercutio as a cross-dresser, and right. Did the students pick up at all on that sort of I don't know whether you'd call it an in-your-face aspect of the film, but it was certainly. You certainly noticed it.
Yes, and I always prime them. Like, this one's a little bit out there, it's kind of eccentric, it's big, it's loud.
Right.
But I think, in a way, that's also what captures their attention.
Yeah.
Kind of like seeing the modern scenery and then all of the stuff going on. They're like really attentive when they watch. They giggle, which lets me know, they know what's happening. And since they've already read, the language, because in the film they used the early modern English.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Not well, but but I was thinking, well, if I were watching it as a student here at Louis Valdez Leadership Academy, I actually wouldn't notice, that it was different. I'd say it was slightly better than reading aloud. So that was just fine, I thought. Yeah, and certainly the visual energy of the Baz Luhrmann is just fantastic.
And so I've also noticed that like since they get to see the actors like kind of putting the emotion behind it, they started reading it with a little bit more emotion too.
Oh,
which
nice.
is really interesting.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I wondered about that, and that I did think that when students were listening to the audio version of Zoot Suit, they were picking up on the emotion,
Yes.
particularly with some of the middle scenes
Yes.
there, where the emotion was pretty damn high. But you said, I actually haven't seen the film version of Zoot Suit, but you said that really was a little disappointing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe this was, in a way, it was nice as a preparation because they weren't ready for anything as gripping and
Right.
and engaging. Yeah, because the only film version of a play they'd seen prior to this was the not. Yeah. And this is of course a much higher quality film in the sense of production values.
Yeah.
Because Baz Luhrmann, he was the one that. I guess first did Strictly Dancing and then did most recently The Great Gatsby. He can command a lot of money.
Yeah. Big budgets.
Yeah, he's at that stature
Yeah.
right now. And can get, actors like Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes to play in his films. Yeah. So he's pretty impressive. Okay, so you noticed an increase in the number of students that would actually read the play at home, and I remember that was a real concern of yours early on in the semester. And you noticed an increase in their ability to read with a sense of emotion, the emotion behind the lines. Was there anything else that you noticed that you would mark as this is a distinct improvement that I'm seeing across all my four ninth grade classes?
Yes. So they were also that day I filmed. They were reading an informational text.
That's right. Oh yes, of course. That whole question of is this teen love really love or is it something else? Yeah.
And so one of their tasks was to find supporting details, and I thought they did that rather well.
Okay.
It was putting the main idea right as a sentence was where I felt they had most of the challenge.
Was figuring out what they would put down as their main idea. Yeah, right. And you said you very nicely you first read an article that was I would say somewhat critical of teen love in the sense that it said because of the way our brains work at those years it's likely to be fleeting. And then you said that then there was a counter article that you gave them that I haven't seen yet. What was the counter article?
So the counter article was pretty long. It was like a 4-page article, and so I jigsawed it and give them each like a no section.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you did write about that, of course. Yeah.
And for this one, it was more like teens talking, and they sounded really, really mature, saying, I know what the difference between a crush and love is. I can tell you what I want in a partner. I want kindness. I want smartness. I want them to be funny.
Right.
And so the other article was saying, they're really immature. Their brain's not developed. And this one really let teens discuss and talk about, well, this is what I really want. And so it gave them like a really mature, mature kind of.
That I wasn't going to introduce this until now, but that point of view corresponds to one reading of Romeo and Juliet, and that reading is actually Juliet in particular, and Romeo because she's learning so much from Juliet. She's Juliet in this particular reading is the mature one, and the reading is Juliet to a great extent, Romeo to a somewhat less extent, are really the only adults in the room. The real children are Lord Capulet, Lady Capulet, right? Lord Montague, Lady Montague, right. And of course Paris, as we saw, with this sort of mincing little dancing.
Right.
What a trip.
Yes. And I did pick up when she says in the text, this is too fast for me to.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering, when the kids write when they pick their position, is that something that they'll go back and...
Have you tried using the Four Corners exercise as the students are going through the text to sort of get it's like taking the class's pulse? Where do you stand now in relation to whether this is just an ephemeral teen love or whether it's something more lasting?
I have not, but now that they're reading the text, because we did that initially before we read.
Right.
You know, do you believe in love at first sight? A lot of them said
Yes,
yes. I
yes,
think it'd be neat to see where they're at now.
Where they at now,
Because
yes,
a lot of
yeah,
them are really critical about Romeo and Juliet, but initially they had said, it's okay to lie to my parents, you know, boyfriends and girlfriends should come before family. A lot of them agreed with those statements.
Really?
And
But
now they're being really critical.
now they're critical.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's right. It's okay for me.
Yeah.
I don't like it when this
So it's
guy
really
Romeo.
interesting.
Right, right.